Lyme disease has an acute illness. It's like a flu. You can get a rash, you get headaches, you get sick, you get a fever. So we know this is not the controversial portion of Lyme. Yes, people get Lyme every summer. There's a tick-borne season. It has about a 1 to 3 week incubation period. So you get bit and then usually you start to get symptoms a 1 to 3 weeks later. This is not what people argue about. The argument is about what happens about 20% of the time, 10 to 20% of the time. Ten to 20% of the time, Lyme disease can cause chronic, mysterious, long-term illness. This typically takes about 6 months or a year to ramp up. And so sometimes by the time patients are going, oh my gosh, I have chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia or very mysterious neurological effects of, POTS, anxiety, depression they've never had before, just absolute havoc on their health system, they can't even remember that they got bit by a tick 9 months ago or 6 months ago. So the argument portion isn't on the acute phase. The argument portion of Lyme is on what do you do with this sub-portion of Lyme patients that seem to have their health completely unravel from this condition.
So is that what chronic Lyme is?
Yes, the term chronic Lyme, once again, people argue over how good that term is. But what we're really saying is 10 to 20% of Lyme disease does not self-resolve. Your body cannot kick it out. And once your body cannot kick it out, it creates a chronic inflammatory state in the body, which leads to a diffuse set of mysterious symptoms. There's controversy on treatment. There's controversy on testing. There's controversy on how common it is, how uncommon it is. There's controversy on how long it lasts and what it does. So this is a huge kind of argument happening in the medical community. Now I'd like to point out, and I do point this out with my patients, is this actually is not as uncommon as we thought. If you look at the other famous spirochete, it's called syphilis. So if you read medical history, syphilis has 3 stages, and it doesn't always go to all 3 stages. In fact, most of the time it went to stage 1 and it didn't go to stage 2 and stage 3. It was only in this small subpopulation that syphilis caused complete and utter havoc. If you look at a disease like polio, now most people know polio because our president, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, had polio, and it causes this neurological paralysis problem. Well, it only does that a small percentage of the time. Some people say 1% of the time, 1 to 5% of the time, what most stats look at. And so Lyme disease is not the only disease that a good majority of the time presents in this, oh, I got a flu, oh, I got sick, and then I got better, and then that's the end of it. But in a small percent of the population, and small being 1 to 20%, depending exactly where you're looking, it causes more problems and people don't just get over it.